This is TaskSpoon, the series where I aim to complete the collection log one random task at a time. After nearly 2 years and over 4,000 hours of gameplay, I'm finally ready to take on RuneScape's endgame as I venture into the elite tier. Welcome to Season 4 of TaskSpoon. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 147 of the TaskSpoon series. In the last video, I killed nearly 950 Vardorvises, where I actually managed to get the Altar Vestige and make an Altar Ring, the best in slot melee strength ring in the game. And we then rolled a task to get a God Wars Dungeon unique, where I have been at Krill for almost a week straight. I'm up to 738 KC with no Staff of the Dead. And I did manage to get enough Zamorakian Spears for all the things that I need, as well as an extra Shard 1 to make a second blade. So that was good, but I am still hunting the Staff of the Dead. So that's what we're going to be doing today, trying to get a Slayer task to go back to Krill. But I also sort of have another plan. The main reason that I was going to Krill in the last video was to get some more Zamorakian Spears, so I could turn one into a Hosta for use for TOA, and to use one at Corp. But now that I have those, I'm not stuck to Krill necessarily. So what I want to do is, while I'm trying to get a Slayer task, I'm actually going to be point boosting instead of Turiel skipping, just for a little bit so I can get enough points to actually unlock Avian Seas. And then I can either go to Kree or Krill, depending on which Slayer task I get, either Avian Seas or Greater Demons. So I'm sort of doubling my chances to get a useful Slayer task by doing so. The only downside is I have to spend a little bit of time at the beginning of this episode farming Slayer points because I do not have any. So I'm going to be doing that. Well, first I have a couple clues to do from the last episode. Then I'm going to go do some Turiel point farming, going to Konar for my task streaks, unlock Avian Seas, extend them if you can. I don't remember if you can. And then we will be going back to task hunting. Getting an Avian Seas task and going to Kree is actually probably going to be way better. Because I don't have any Kree uniques yet, any unique I get is going to count for the task, versus obviously going back to Krill. If you watched the last episode, you saw a bunch of dupes, which are really sad to see when you only need one item left. So that's actually going to be really good. The downside is I have to do Kree, and I hate Kree, and I don't really know which method I'm going to do yet. So yeah, there's ups and downs, but I think this will just help speed up the tasks in general. So I'm going to need to get 80 Slayer points to unlock Avian Seas and then 100 points to extend them, which shouldn't be too bad. But in the long run, I also want to unlock Task Storage. At the beginning of this account, Task Storage was kind of lame. You had to pay Slayer points to store it and then take it out of storage, and nobody really used it because it was kind of annoying. But they made it so you can just freely swap tasks in and out of storage, which sounds super useful for me. So eventually I might want to get the 1,000 points for that too. I don't know when, but for now we're just trying to get 180 points. And if for some reason you don't know how Turiel point boosting works, you essentially just do 9 tasks at Turiel, and then on your 10th task you go to Konar. You get the 10 task streak at Konar for 100 points, and then you repeat the process until you have as many points as you want. Pretty simple, pretty quick, shouldn't take too long. And now for the slightly scary part. I do not have enough points for even a single skip, so whatever Konar gives me I have to go and do, and there are some slightly slow tasks that I'm really hoping to avoid. Abyssal Demons in the Slayer Tower, that's not too bad. So I went to bed last night after finishing that Abyssal Demons task, and I think that I'm actually gonna just go for the 1,000 points right now, or I guess I'll need 1,180 points to unlock the things as well, just because I want to be able to cancel my streak again, and this is gonna be like the only time I actually go for a Slayer streak, so I might as well do it now, get the task storage unlocked, and then I can use it going forward. I don't really know how long it's going to take, but these Turiel tasks seem to be going by pretty fast, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. And I might as well unlock Avian Seas right now. If Konar assigns Avian Seas, they're guaranteed to be in the God Wars dungeon, so even though they're not extended yet, this does give me the off chance of maybe getting an Avian Sea task on my task streak, which would be kind of cool. Would have been very cool. Gargoyles in the Slayer Tower, not too bad. I could do Grotesque Guardians for a bit, actually. I know this is going to be a little bit slow, but I really wanted to try the Venator Bow at Grotesque Guardians. Maybe get like one of the speed combat achievements just while I'm there. I'm going to do like one trip, but finish it off in the regular Gargoyles after. I just want to try it out. So it turns out that without rigor, using rune arrows, and without optimal range gear, skipping the orb phase with the Venator Bow isn't that consistent. which made it hard for me to get any actually good times here. So, you know, I learned a little bit there. Now I know what I need to come back here, but yeah, let's just go finish this task the normal way. One of the main reasons I wanted to go and test that out is I do actually have one more Grotesque Guardians task on the Elite tier. I need to get the Granite Hammer. So when I roll that task, I just wanted to sort of see what it would look like, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Hopefully by the time we roll it, I'll have enough upgrades that skipping that orb phase will be faster and more consistent. I do have to say, I love the Sarah Godsword. This is my first time using it on like normal Slayer tasks, and it's just amazing. I mean, I can just camp Preserve to keep my super combat potions up. I can use Piety every once in a while when I have high prayer. It's just amazing. I don't even really need food. I brought it because I didn't know if I would need it, but yeah, it's great. It is also nice to be doing sort of normal, regular Slayer just for the chance at superiors. I don't really get superiors doing the tutorial skipping method because most of the things I'm killing aren't Slayer monsters. It's like goblins and rats and spiders and stuff. So this way I actually have a chance at some of the superior uniques that I'm missing, specifically the Eternal Gem and the Dust Battle Staff. Now the gem isn't on the spreadsheet, but it would be nice to have, but the Dust Battle Staff actually is, and if I roll the task, I'm gonna need to go and like camp Dust Devils or something, which will not be fun, so I would much rather get it passively doing something like this. I got enough points to extend the Avian Seas task, so if we get one from Konar, it'll actually be worth doing, and maybe we'll get one right now. Oh, but it would be cool. Blue Dragons in the Myth Guild dungeon. Not bad, actually. Easy prayer XP. I recently did the math at all my skills and how long it would take me to max, and one of the skills that I actually couldn't do that for is prayer. Because it doesn't really matter how long the prayer training takes, it's more about gathering the supplies. I didn't really have a good estimate on how long that would take me, so anytime I get a chance to bank prayer XP, that's a good thing for me. So the way the Slayer points work out, I'm going to need to get to 100 Slayer tasks to get 1,000 points. It's kind of annoying because at 90, I'm going to be at 900 points, but then when I go to 100, it's going to go up to 1,400 points. But if I want to get task storage, I'm going to need to do 100 tasks, and this is going to be my 40th. For Dust Devils in the Catacombs, that should be a quick one. But yeah, I don't really know how long this is going to take or what I'm going to show you, but yeah, I need to get to a 100 task streak. Gonna go do this. Another Catacombs bursting task? You're so nice to me, Konar. Thank you. I mean, Necrolls are going to take a bit longer than Dust Devils, but still. And there's the end of another fairly quick bursting task. Thank you, Konar. As I was doing that task, I remembered that I actually wanted to change up my block list a little bit. So I'll use the extra Slayer points that I get from getting to the 100th task. I think I'll have like 400 extra points, so I can do 4 extra blocks, which I'll just do along the way as I'm going to Duradel for my tasks. If I ever get something that's highly weighted that I don't want, I'll just block it instead. So that's useful at least. Another Abbey Demons in the Slayer Tower task. I'll take it. I was really hoping, I saw the Abyssal Demons, I was really hoping it was going to be in the Catacombs, so I could use my Venator bow and just AFK the entire task, but honestly, it's not too bad. And there's another fantastic task, 4 Superior, 7 Brimstone Keys, very nice. It's been a few hours since I recorded anything, just a bunch of boring Slayer tasks in a row, but this is going to be my 100 task streak, so hopefully it's something easy. Black Demons in the Chasm of Fire, sure, a little long, but that's fine. And there it is, 100 tasks, 500 bonus points, 1,400 total, we've done it. So I can afford to unlock task storage. This is going to be nice for me if I ever get tasks that I know I'm going to need for future tasks on the spreadsheet, but I might not want to do them right now, so I'll just put them in the task storage, and then I can swap them out whenever. So that is very useful for me. And other than that, I got enough points for some blocks later. I'm probably going to change up these metal dragons. I don't think they need to be there. I'm going to block some higher weighted things. And Duradel's going to give me a task right now. That couldn't have worked any better. Greater Demons, let's go. So I think I mentioned this before, but I'll just say it again. In the last video, I got up to 738 Krill KC, meaning that we're right around 1.5 times the drop rate for a Staff of the Dead already. And that's pretty much the only thing we need here. I've got all the Zami Spears that I need. Another Shard one would be nice to complete a 3rd blade, but other than that, a pet would be cool, but all we need is a Staff of the Dead, so Yeah, unlikely, but hopefully we can get it done. 230 kills, meaning I have 115 krill kills to work with. Let's get started. Oh, hey! I don't need any more of these, but it's always nice to see them on the ground. Much better than the Steam Battle Staff. I don't know why Steam Battle Staff drops just tilt me so much, but finally evening out the collection a little bit. Okay, sure. Okay, Shard 2 is actually not bad. Eventually, I'm going to want 4 or maybe even 5 Godsword Blades, so a Shard 2 is not terrible, although a Shard 1 is more useful right now. I will want it in the long run. Unlike Shard 3s, I have no need for 7 of them. So, due to reasons that I will not talk about right now, I wasn't really able to play very much yesterday, so I just did mining at Motherlode Mine, like, all day. You saw I got 94 mining there. I'm actually 78% of the way to another mining level, and one of the reasons I decided to do it here, even though it's not on the collection log, eventually I would like to get all of the unlocks here, and I haven't really had a time to come back here since I got the Prospector outfit. So I unlocked the upper area, I unlocked the hopper up there, and I am at 99 nuggets out of 200 for the big sack as well. So I'll have to come back here again, but yeah, pretty much an entire day of just AFKing at Motherlode Mine, but we are back, going back to Krill. Hopefully we can continue some luck there. I think I have like 131 more kills on the Slayer task, so yeah, let's just go do it. Hey guys, Future Spoon here to remind you to check if you're subscribed to the channel. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're closer than ever, so if you could just go and check, that would really help me out. And there is another Slayer task done with no Staff of the Dead. 854 KC total now. I am so sick of this boss. I'm really hoping we get an Avian Seas task next, just so I can do something else. Don't get me wrong, I am still going to go for the back-to-back, but knowing my luck, it won't work anyway. Yeah, that's what I thought. I have actually been doing these Fire Cape tasks anytime I get them, just because they are pretty quick, and I've been trying to get some of the combat achievements. Specifically, I was going for the speed time, the 30-minute clear, but that turned out to be essentially impossible. I did like 3 clears in a row that all ended around 33 minutes. I think that's just sort of like the cap of where I'm at with my gear, and specifically without rigor, it just is really hard to do enough damage. So for now, I'm going to try the melee-only Fire Cape. I've never done one of these before, except for on leagues, so I don't really know how this is going to go, but yeah, we're just going to try it. I actually had a lot of fun doing that, and I'm kind of sad that melee fight caves aren't that viable. In terms of speed, obviously you're going to be slower because you don't have range, you have to run around each enemy, you use more supplies, it's not as safe, it's really just inferior in every way, except for the actual gameplay. I find doing the waves was actually really fun. It's like a bunch of mini puzzles on like how to safe spot the meleeer as you kill the major and not die. I don't know, it was fun, I enjoyed it. Anyways, that was a fun little interlude. Back to getting a Slayer task. One of the things that I mentioned before is that I want to curate my block list a little bit better, specifically at Duradel, because I don't plan on doing much Konar Slayer in the future, maybe just on the 10th task for the point boost, but I don't have any more Hydra's tasks on the spreadsheet, so I really don't have a reason to specifically go to Konar very much, so I'm going to be focusing on high-weighted tasks at Duradel that I have no more tasks left to do on the spreadsheet. And I'm going to be removing some of these. Specifically, I'm going to be removing Bronze Dragons. Duradel doesn't even assign Bronze Dragons, so that is completely useless. I'm actually also going to remove Iron and Steel Dragons. He will assign them, but they're relatively low weighted, so I don't really care. And now I'm much more equipped to kill them. I blocked those like way back in the past when killing these was actually kind of difficult. Now I really don't care about those at all. So I have 4 empty block slots, and I have 400 points to block things. So yeah, I need to figure out what I want to block. I don't think it's going to be Kree'arra, but maybe. I just went and looked up the Duradel task waiting, and I think for my next 4 block slots, I'm going to be looking for Dark Beasts, Hellhounds, Black Demons, and Mithril Dragons or Dagonauts. I haven't really decided yet. But those are going to be the highest weighted tasks that I don't really have any use for anymore. It does feel kind of weird. Obviously, Hellhounds, I could go to Cerberus, but I have no need for that until I want the pet or the jar, and I won't be doing that anytime soon. And in terms of Dark Beasts, some people do them for superiors, but they're very high weighted, and I just don't want to bother with them. So that's going to be what I'm looking for. As you might have noticed, that is not Kree'arra, so I'm just going to go and skip this tutorial, resetting my streak. Unfortunately, it was nice while it lasted, but it is what it is. Well, there's the first of 4 block list targets. Nice. And there is another one, Hellhounds, going on the block list. Turns out that because I'm blocking a bunch of high-weighted tasks, it's pretty likely that I'm going to get them to block. So there we go. Nice. What I'm actually going to do, obviously, Greater Demons, good. We can go back to Krill. I mean, I guess that's good in theory. That doesn't mean I have to do more Krill. But what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to store this one and keep going until I get either 2 Greater Demons tasks or an Avian Seas task as well. Just because I'm in the mood to keep working on my block list and keep doing Slayer. I'm all geared up and everything. So I can store that task and get another one. And I want to do that. Okay. One of the main reasons that I wanted to unblock the Metal Dragons and why I'm actually going to be doing them, I still don't have a DFS. I haven't ever got a Draconic Visage on the account, mostly because I don't really do Dragon's tasks very much. So going forward, now that I can actually do these fairly easily, I will be doing these Metal Dragon tasks, and hopefully, maybe eventually one day getting Draconic Visage would be cool. Maybe. Well, I guess the rest of the block list is going to have to wait, because I got a second Greater Demons task that is 435 Greater Demons. Please, game, let me finish it on here. I do not want to have to hunt for more tasks. I just have this weird feeling, now that I've prepped 2 Greater Demon tasks to go and kill Krill, that I'm going to end up getting the Staff of the Dead on, like, my first trip, and just have 2 useless Greater Demons tasks just sitting there. I wouldn't complain, it'd be great, but it would be kind of funny. That is, like, the biggest downside to this. I may have just wasted a bit of time getting a second task. That and the fact that once I finish the first task, I am going to have to leave to go and get the other one out of storage anyway, so I won't be able to just stay here for 2 tasks in a row, but all things considered, I am prepared for, like, 12 hours of Krill over the next 2 days, so hopefully we get it by the end of these tasks at least. Another spear! Yay! Today is actually my editing day, and as you know, I usually use these days to try and work on some of the more AFK skills to try and help me to max, and I didn't really want to leave the Godwars dungeon. I already started last night doing those Krill kills, and I didn't want to reset my KC, so today I've decided to do some bank standing, and I'm starting with some fletching, made some maple or magic longbows, stringing them now, got 96 fletching, cool. 99 fletching is one of those skills that I could so easily get right now. I have gone through most of my logs making longbows, which honestly I probably didn't really have to, but for the rest of them, I'm just going to be turning my maple logs into arrow shafts, going and buying some feathers, and then some broad arrowhead packs, and making broad arrows to 99. That's generally the way most Iron Men end up getting it. I just had so many logs that I figured I might as well make some longbows, and now, as you can see, I have a bunch of stuff to alch later. I don't even know how much this stuff is worth, but yeah, a solid 20 mil in alchs right there is nice. And then, like I said, I'll make the rest in broad arrows. I should get 99 pretty soon. Alright, video has been edited. Fletching training is done. I am at 211,000 arrow shafts. Combined with the headless arrows, this should almost be enough to get me to 99 fletching. But I will do that later. For now, I do need to go and get a thumbnail, but I would have to leave Godwars Dungeon to do that. And as I just mentioned, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to try and finish this Slayer task. I need to do 75 more Krill kills, which will take me like just over 3 hours, 3.5 hours maybe. So hopefully I can do that and it's not too late and I can make a thumbnail and upload this video on time. But I'm going to try and finish this Slayer task, go and get the thumbnail, then we'll swap out the other Slayer task, come back here, continue, you know the deal, let's do it. And there is the end of the first Slayer task. Literally nothing interesting happened between the time I finished editing and the time I finished that task. I don't know what else to tell you. I did not get a single interesting thing to show you. So, Yeah, that kind of sucks, but we are done one task. I'm going to go and do those things I said I needed to do, and then we'll go and swap out the other task and come back. Okay, so I finished all the things that I needed to do. I went and bought the rest of the feathers and broad arrowheads, so this should be almost 99 fletching banked right here. I think I might be a little bit under because I didn't do the full math on the XP that you actually get for making the headless arrows, because you get XP for that too. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. If I don't have enough XP, I have the logs that I can get it easily. So 99 fletching is banked, which is very good. And I have a little bit of time before I can really go back to God War's dungeon, so I'm going to use that time to try and get another Slayer task. If we get another Greater Demons task, then that's just more Krill kills to do, which means that we should be able to get the Staff of the Dead, hopefully, maybe. But if we can get an Avian Seas task, I'm going to start with that, just to mix things up, to give myself a little bit of a break from Krill, because I am kind of tired of the boss. So hopefully we get an Avian Seas task. Wow, that was like my third task. Avian Seas, 228, let's go. First things first, I need to get some ecumenical keys. I think I have one in the bank. I probably should have checked before I came here, but I'm going to try and get 5 just so that, you know, if I mess up, I can come back for more trips. I am going to be trying to do what I did with Zamorak, where as long as I can get, I think it's 8 kills a trip, then I can bank at the next prison and just go back in there, and then I don't have to use multiple keys. So yeah, but I am going to have to get a couple just to start. So I think this is what I'm going to be going with. There's a lot going on here, but let me explain. I am going to be using the Bofa. I do have some chins I could use, but honestly, I just want to try out the Bofa. I've never used a Bofa at Armadillo, so I want to see how it does. And if it's pretty bad, I might swap to chins later, but for now, we're going to go with the lazy Bofa method. I've got a Zamorak item, an ancient item, and an Armadillo item, obviously for protection and then banking. And other than that, I got a mage switch for blood barrages on the minions. I've also got Bones to Peach's tablets. I really want to make sure these trips last at least 8 kills so I can bank at the ancient prison. So anything to help sustain is going to be useful. So blood magic, Bones to Peaches, blowpipe spec, I've got it all. And then everything else is pretty standard, pots and everything, food, crossbow to get in, ecumenical key, hilt to get there. And yeah, we're going to do it. So when it comes to Kree, I can get any of the uniques here to count for the task because I don't have any of them yet. The 3 armor pieces are all a 1 in 381. The hilt is a 1 in 508, which means that to get any item is a 1 in 101.6 chance, which is significantly better than the Krill kills, where I have a 1 in 508 chance. So hopefully we can get it. The annoying thing, all of the minions in here, or rather the boss and all 3 bodyguards, all count as Avian Seas. So I'm going to be going through 4 kills on my Slayer task per kill, which means that I only actually have 1/4 of that, which is like 55, 56. I don't know, I didn't do the math. 56 Kree'arra kills to go for a 1 in 101. So hopefully we get lucky. The good thing about Kree'arra, or at least the method that I plan on doing, it is very easy. There's no skill, there's no mechanics. I literally am just going to pot up, stand in a corner, and click on the boss, and hope that I do enough damage to kill it before it kills me. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, I deserve that. You know, I knew that I was gonna die there, pretty much. I just had to commit. That was gonna be the 8th kill, which was gonna let me bank in the ancient prison. If I didn't get that kill, I wouldn't have been able to bank anyway. I guess I could have just killed, like, 2 of the guys outside, but I decided to risk it, and it did not pay off. But I learned a lot, most importantly, about what the inventory should look like. I think the guides and stuff that I was looking at was assuming that people weren't prayer flicking, because I had way too many prayer potions. Because I'm not really doing anything else, I can just prayer flick pretty much the whole kill. So I'm going to bring a lot less prayer, a lot more food, brews, restores, range pots, etc. And hopefully we can make it to 8 kills next trip. Alright, so that was a pretty decent trip. The end was a little bit spicy, as you probably saw, but I did manage to kill the boss 11 times, which means that we can, in fact, go and bank at the next prison. But something I didn't really consider, you actually have to grapple back, which means that you need a mithril grapple and a crossbow. Fortunately, even though I dropped my crossbow and mithril grapple, I did get a rune crossbow drop from Kree, and you can actually search this crate here to get a mithril grapple. So I'm not stuck here, but that is something I need to remember in the future. And also, you can do the drop trick here if you want to get multiple mithril grapples. This is just sort of nice, you know, being an Iron Man, I can't just buy them, so this way I don't have to go and make a bunch of my own. Anytime I come back, I can just stock up on a few of them. Oh hey, Future Spoon here. While editing this video, I realized that I had lost the clip that made the next clip make any sense, but I had decided to bring freezes to Kree to try and freeze the melee minion before it got to me at the beginning of the kill. I was taking a lot of damage, and I was hoping that freezing the minion would reduce the melee damage I was taking. So if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about in the next clip, I forgot to explain that. Or rather, I did explain that, but I lost the clip. So, oops. And in case you were curious about the whole freezes thing, it was sort of working, but I think I was trying to force it too much in the middle of kills. I think what I'm going to do going forward is just freeze it once right at the beginning, and then just let it hit me for the rest of the kill. At least that gives me one barrage's worth of not having to deal with him, and it doesn't take too much effort, so I would say it sort of worked. It wasn't as good as I was hoping, though. Alright, well that trip went way better. As you can see up here, I don't really know the math. I had a little bit of KC left from last time, and I got a bunch more, but I don't know. Either way, I think it was like 17, 18 kills. Way better. Again, better strategies, just getting more comfortable with the boss. Not to mention a little bit better luck as well. So yeah, now I got lots of wiggle room, and same thing, just gonna go back and do it again. I don't think you guys fully understand how happy I am to be able to do something that is both working towards completing the task and not Krill. It feels so good to just do something else. And now that I have both tasks, I could like swap back and forth, or I might just do the next one after this. It just feels good to be able to mix things up, but still being productive. Hey, 50 KC achievement. And this is going to be the end of the Aviancy Slayer task. Very sad. I actually think I'm going to go and hunt for another Aviancy's task, because I just really don't want to go back to Krill right now, and that was actually kind of fun, so I'm going to go try and get another one. Oh, I forgot to record, but I got a Dark Beast task and blocked it, so I have my perfect block list set up for now, along with a bonus 69 points. Nice. So I've had a little bit of time to think here. I've just been eating and trying to finish off these headless arrows, and I think I am just going to completely ignore Krill for now and go for more Aviancy's tasks. I'm going to keep that Greater Demon task in storage, just so I can pull it out whenever I want it, but for now, I just don't want to go back to Krill. I mean, I know I've probably said this like 10 times in the video already, but I've just been so demoralized at Krill. It makes me not want to play the game, and that's not fun. So instead, I'm going to do the thing that I'm going to have more fun doing, which is going to be hunting for Aviancy's tasks and then going to Kree. Not to mention, Kree has some great upgrades for me, and the Staff of the Dead isn't even that useful, which I think is one of the reasons why the Krill grind has felt so bad, knowing that I'm after such a rare item that I've already gone so dry on that I'm not even going to use. It just feels terrible. At least if I get any of the Armadillo pieces, it's useful for me. If I get the helmet, it's good for clues. If I get the chest, that'll be my new best in slot ranged chest if I'm not using the Bofa. If I get the legs, I can break them down and fortify my Masori. If I get the hilt, at least the hilt is the most rare item, and then I can check that off. So, yeah, I'm going to finish off these arrows, finish eating, and then we're going to go hunt more Aviancies. And there's going to be the last of the headless arrows. That took way longer than I thought, and I have even more to go, because I've got to make 311,000 broad arrows, but at least knowing I have it banked feels good. I'll do the math and see if this is enough. I think this is going to be just barely not enough for 99 fletching, but at least now I'm getting, like, good XP. Instead of 15 per, I'm getting 150 per, so I'll actually see some gains now. So it turns out I think I actually bought too many broad arrows. I underestimated how much XP I would get from fletching the shafts and attaching the feathers. This little skill calculator says I need 304,000 broad arrows to 99, and I have 309,000. So cool, 99 fletching banked. I just got to work on it as I do things, and I'm even doing the sweaty thing of fletching arrows as I run in between tutorial skipping, which usually I hate doing, but I don't know, I'm just sort of in the mood. I want to get it done. And hey, would you look at that? 209 Aviancies, exactly what I was looking for. and only like an hour into the tutorial skipping, so that's very nice. Before going back to Kree, I decided that I'm going to try and catch some Chinchompas. I do have some red Chinchompas, but everything pretty much said that black is just going to be way better, and I figure this gives me an excuse to train a little bit of Hunter and gives me a break from doing God Wars dungeon bosses. So I'm going to catch some black chins. I don't know how many I'm going to get, but yeah, that's my plan. Hey, 94 Hunter. So I just realized that this might be the only reason left on the spreadsheet that I would have to actually do Hunter. I don't have any Hunter rumors, uniques left or anything like that. And depending on how good this is, I might end up being here a lot, which will be great for my goal to max. Obviously, I am trying to find ways to train skills that also fit tasks. So I feel like this is a great opportunity to do both. Hopefully, like I said, I don't actually know how much better chinning is going to be. It's been a while since I've done it, and I don't really know. But either way, I'm just going to catch a bunch of chins, hopefully enough that I can do the entire task at Kree chinning the whole time, and then we'll make a decision going forward. But for now, I'm just going to catch a bunch. I'm kind of enjoying it. It's mindless. It gives me a break, so I don't mind. I did actually somewhat recently do the math on how many hours each skill is going to take me to max that I have left. And obviously I've gained some experience since then, so it's not going to be entirely accurate up to this moment, but I didn't realize how long some of these skills were going to take. I thought I was pretty close to max, and in fact, I was sort of thinking of doing either like a 1,000 collection log special or a 10,000 subscriber special to try and get maxed. But realistically, that's just not going to happen. I mean, 99 agility is going to take like 200 plus hours by itself. Not to mention like mining and fishing, woodcutting, all these skills that there isn't really many ways to do it quickly. You just have to sort of sit down, AFK for a while and do it. So I'm not really too concerned about it right now, especially a lot of those AFK skills I'm going to end up doing while I edit anyway. But there are a bunch of skills that I don't really have an opportunity to train. For example, Hunter, or I mean agility if I don't have a Howled Sepulchre task, smithing, I don't really have an opportunity to train, fire making, rune crafting now that I'm done with Guardians of the Rift. There are a lot of skills that I just don't really have reasons to train because of what I have left on the spreadsheet that in the long run, I'm going to try and find a way to fit in. But like I said, not right now because it would take way too long. I mean, yeah, 91 to 99 rune crafting, 99 agility, like those are each 200 plus hours on their own. So yeah, not too worried about it for now, but eventually I would like to get it done. So I was doing a bunch of that Hunter during sort of peak times, and that resulted in a bunch of PKers that were just sort of annoying me. None of them actually killed me, but just slowing down my chin gathering. So I decided that I would come to the bank and just do some AFK fletching while Wilderness tried to die down a little bit. And it's now later at night, so I want to go back to catching chins. But first, I may have done a lot of fletching. I got 99 fletching! Yay! Honestly, I don't really know why I did that. I was just eating dinner, and I jammed a pair of nail clippers into my keyboard to hold the spacebar down, and I would just sort of make some arrows while I watched a movie, and here we are, 99 fletching. I am going to go buy the skill cape, even though it's kind of terrible, but yeah, that's pretty cool. One more skill crossed off the maxing list, 2,224 total. Very nice. So the fletching skill cape is absolutely terrible. I've only ever seen exactly one use case for this fletching skill cape perk, which by the way is you can search it 3 times a day and you receive a crossbow and a mithril grapple. And the only case I've ever seen anyone use this for, funny enough, is at Kree'arra. Bringing the cape allows you to bring 1 extra piece of food, because you only need 1 inventory slot, and you get the crossbow and the grapple. So, funny that that is the only time anyone has ever used this cape for its purpose, and I'm doing that exact thing right now. So, I guess in that sense, it is useful to get right now, but yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. But now that there's like a third of the people in the world as there was earlier, I'm going back to the chins. I'm going to go and catch 1,233 more chins for no particular reason. It's definitely not because that'll get me a Hunter level, which will get me to 2225 total. Definitely not because of that. So I was up pretty late last night hunting chins. I got almost all of it done. I had a few hundred left to go. Decided to wait till this morning just because it was already getting pretty late. And sure enough, this morning, like I thought, the wilderness was a little bit more active. I think I've been attacked like 3-4 times this morning already, and I died once with a few chins on me, but it doesn't really matter. We got it done. This chin's gonna give me 95 hunter. And I think I got 2,700 chins or something to go use at Kree. So, oh yeah, and 2225 total. Very nice. Oh, it looks so good. All right, yeah, 3,000 black chins, 3,000 red chins. Obviously, I'm going to start with the black ones. Only going to dip into the red ones if I need them, which I don't think I will, because I think I'm only going to need like 1,500 to finish the task. But again, went a little overboard just to train my hunter up a little bit. 2225 total, man. 52 levels to go till max. Obviously, that sounds pretty close, even though it's like hundreds, maybe 1,000 hours of skilling left. But I'm just happy to be done with that. Finally, I'm done stalling. I can go back to Kree. And I actually want to talk about this because I realized that some of you guys probably don't even know why I've been catching chins at all. So let me explain. As you probably already know, chinchompas are generally used for killing large groups of enemies with a ranged attack. It's kind of like the barrage version of a ranged ability, and you might be wondering to yourself, why would I want that to kill a single target boss? Kree'arra is significantly tankier than the other 3 Godward's Dungeon bosses, not including Nex here because that's sort of a separate thing. But of the 4 main bosses, Kree'arra has the highest range defense of all the other bosses. So their regular defense levels, I believe, are like 260, 270, 250, and 300. So all pretty comparable. But their range defense for Krill is plus 80, for Zilyana is plus 100, for Gardor is plus 90, but then for Kree it's plus 200. So it's like twice as tanky as any of the other Godward's Dungeon bosses in that regard. And for some reason, they decided to do that on the boss that you could only hit with range attack styles. So range or mage. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but it essentially makes Kree'arra extremely hard to hit. Even on a Slayer task with a Bofa with full crystal, the hits are really inconsistent. And that's where the chins come in. Chinchompas have a unique way of calculating accuracy. For most AoE attacks in the game, for this example, I'm going to say like if you're barraging a group of enemies, each individual enemy will have a magic attack roll made against them. And if you pass the accuracy check, then you will do damage to that one enemy. And you'll just do that for however many enemies you're hitting. Chinchompas are different. For some reason, they only do 1 accuracy check on the initial target that you hit. And if you pass it, then all targets in the 3x3 radius, well, up to 12 enemies, but I'm going to say all for this purpose, will make a damage roll on them. You don't have to pass extra accuracy checks for each enemy. So what that means is it doesn't actually matter about all the enemies that you end up hitting. It only matters about the enemy that you're targeting, which is a mechanic that we'll use to our advantage here. The melee bodyguard in Kree'arra's room has a significantly lower defense level. I mentioned that Kree'arra has a 260 defense plus 200 range defense. Flight Kalissa has a 175 defense level with a plus 0 range defense, which essentially means that with a Slayer Helm on task, you are almost always going to hit, which means that as long as you pass the accuracy check on the melee minion, it'll always splash damage onto Kree'arra, which is exactly what we're going to do. I'm actually recording this explanation before I go and do it, so hopefully you guys are following along. I'll be sure to put some clips in here so you can see what I'm saying, because I actually have another mechanic I want to talk about. I mentioned before that I wanted to do the Bofa method, at least at first, just because it was extremely easy. There's no real mechanics, you just go to the corner and click on the boss, and I was prayer flicking just to save prayer potions, but honestly, you don't even really need to do that. You could just stand there. But for the Chin method, you actually have to do a little bit more than that. Unlike the other Godward's Dungeon bosses, Kree'arra can attack with all 3 combat styles, but ranged is by far his strongest style. I believe his max hit with range is around a 70, which means that if Kree'arra is alive, you need to have range prayer on. There's just no way around it. You can't risk getting hit with a range attack off prayer, which means that Kree'arra can, in theory, attack with both magic and melee. But you might have noticed in some of the clips from the previous task, Kree'arra didn't melee me much, and there's a reason for that. Kree'arra has a weird mechanic where if you are targeting him, he will not attack you with melee. And by targeting, what I mean is you are clicked onto the boss to attack him. you don't actually have to be attacking him. So what you end up doing is attacking the melee minion with the chin and then clicking on Kree'arra to say that, like, don't worry, Kree'arra, I am targeting you. Even though you have no intention of actually hitting Kree'arra, and then every time your attack is actually ready, you click onto the melee minion to throw a chin, and then you click back onto Kree'arra. And what this does is it makes it so you are always targeting Kree'arra, and therefore he will never melee you, so you don't have to worry about taking that extra damage. You have range prayer on, so you don't have to worry about getting hit by the range hits. The only thing that Kree'arra can do is mage you. So what you want to do is actually set up your gear to be fully maxed on mage defense, and that way you'll take as little damage as possible. So I don't really know what my setup's going to be right now. You're probably already seeing clips of what it is on the screen, but you essentially make it so you're as tanky as possible while throwing chins at the melee minion, while targeting Kree'arra on the off ticks, and then same thing as before, going to be using Blood Barrage and Bones to Peaches to heal up in between kills. And hopefully this will not only result in faster kills, but because the kills are faster, I'll use less supplies and therefore have longer trips. So I'm going to go get geared up and ready to go. I know you guys have already seen a bunch of clips because I've probably shown you, but I'm going to go do it right now. Okay, so this is going to be the setup, and I understand that it looks absolutely psychotic, but I will explain my choices. Number one, the ranging cape over the assembler. I don't know if the +2 range strength gives a max hit, but the extra prayer and defense from the range cape is really nice, so I went with that instead. The armor, I have the Zamorak, the Ancient, the Armadillo, and the Saradomin items, so I can't get hit by anything except for the Bandos enemies, which I won't be going anywhere near. And that's just sort of to help when I go back and forth between the rooms when I'm banking or whatever. And obviously the D'hide is already like my best armor that I can use, so that's good. I got the Masori chaps in there. Honestly, it probably would be better for me to use either a Carol skirt or other Blessed D'hide chaps, but I just kind of want to use the Masori because I have it. The Suffering, obviously extra defensive prayer is very nice. Now, the Dragon Square Shield, I don't really have a tank shield, unfortunately. This is where a DFS would be very nice. DFS is actually almost the best thing I could use here, but it's the best I got, so it's what I'm going to use. Also, it looks awesome. Now, as far as the inventory setup goes, because that is a whole nother mess in itself, I got the 3-way mage switch like I had before for blood barraging the minions. I have the blowpipe for a spec weapon, also on the minions to heal up between kills. I have a Bofa. You might be wondering why I would bring a Bofa if I'm chinning. Oftentimes, because the melee minion has about half the health of Kree, you're going to be killing the melee minion before you end up killing Kree, and then you're just going to be sitting there because you don't want to throw chins at Kree, so I'm going to swap to the Bofa for that. I don't really know how accurate it's going to be without crystal armor, but it is what people recommended, so I'm just going to do it. I've got ecumenical key to get in the room, the hilt to get there and do the drop trick to get extra food, got all my pots, I got the fletching cape so I can steal an extra piece of food into the room by using only one inventory slot for both my crossbow and my grapple, which I will show you in a bit. Bones to Peaches, Saturated Heart, all this is pretty much the same. So finally, I'm going back to Kree, let's do it. So here's the trick with the fletching cape that I was talking about before. If you drop 2 pieces of food on the ground and then search the fletching cape, you get your crossbow and your grapple. You equip both of them and you go across to the other side. Then once you're on the other side, you drop 2 other pieces of food over there, which I'm going to drop 2 brews. Then you go back, pick up these 2 pieces of food. Then you go back, drop the crossbow and the grapple, and then you pick up the other food. And that way you don't need an inventory slot for both of them. Instead, you're sacrificing 1 inventory slot just for the fletching cape itself. So yeah, that's kind of neat. I know I've done a lot of yapping and I really want to get to the Kree'arra killing, but I did want to mention that one of the reasons I was hesitant to do this in the first place, bringing chins does make this a lot riskier. Dying before was just sort of annoying because I'd have to go and get more ecumenical keys, but if you die with chins, you lose all of them. So I'm only starting with 300. I don't know how many kills this is going to get me, but I really don't want to die and lose 300 chins because that's like an hour almost of chin hunting. So yeah, I just really have to make sure I don't die. Teleporting out is fine, just don't die. No way that just happened. That was my first kill. That's okay, that's good, but that's also so annoying. What the heck, man? That's actually, like, so annoying. I did all that prep for nothing. Okay, well, not nothing. Obviously, I still have all the items, but yeah, that's funny. Okay, I can't even lie. That is funny. I'm gonna do one more kill just because I want to have some more footage to use. Well, I guess you've already seen it because I'm only gonna have 2 kills worth of clips to use, but yeah, give me a sec. First of all, I just have to say, you have no idea how good it feels to be done with this task. I have been on this task for, this is going to be day 15, if you include all of the krill that I did from the last video, started this video, all the Slayer, all the Arma, everything I did. 15 days straight of trying to get a God Wars Dungeon unique. I'm finally done and I can move on. It feels amazing. Now, Arma Chain Skirt is a little bit interesting. Obviously, the Arma Chain Skirt is very good, but I have Missouri Chaps. So I could actually break these down and fortify my Missouri, which is actually best in slot range in the game, which is going to be awesome. There is one slight downside. It doesn't count as an Armadillo item when I break it down. So if I want to go back to Kree, then I'm going to have to continue to use the bracers. But I think that is definitely worth it. So I'm going to go do it. I honestly thought you had to go somewhere in God Wars Dungeon to do this, kind of like when you're repairing Torva and you have to go to the forge in the ancient prison, but apparently you just use a chisel on this. Yes, I would like to do that. Get 3 plates, and then you just use the plates on the chaps. You don't even need to be on an anvil or anything, but there it is, Missouri Chaps fortified. Let's go, dude. So I don't have the regular chaps to show you the comparison, but fortifying the Missouri chaps essentially just makes them more defensive. So it keeps all the same offensive bonuses, same attack bonus, same range strength, but it adds +1 prayer bonus and sort of like almost doubles the defense, depending on which stat you're looking at, but specifically increases the magic defense, goes from like +17 to +46. So it makes them a lot tankier and keeps them still just the best for offensive range bonus. So these are quite literally the best in slot range legs in the game. The only unfortunate thing is I still use my Bofa most places, so I don't really get to use them that much, but yeah, that is just, it's always sick to get an item that you will never replace, you know? As I just mentioned, that task did take me 15 days to complete, and considering I'm trying to release these videos once a week, I kind of have to end the episode soon here, but first I have a couple things I wanted to wrap up. I have 23 brimstone keys to open. I did some Konar for some points earlier in the video, and I think I had some of these left over I forgot to open last time. So we are going for these Mystic Gloves Dusk, the only Dusk Mystic piece we have left, and the only real cool thing I have from here. Obviously, there are some supplies that would be nice, but let's just do this real quick. Alright, well, as to be expected, no Dusk Mystic Gloves, or any Dusk Mystic piece, actually, but that's some pretty good stuff. And the last thing I had to do before rolling the next task, I was pretty close to a mining level after all the mining that I did before, and initially I was going to get the level and unlock the bigger sack, but I didn't get nearly as many nuggets as I had hoped, so we're just going to stop there. 95 mining, very nice. This was going to be my backup if I didn't end up getting the Hunter level or all the Fletching levels to get to 2225, but I managed to do all of them. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool. I'll come back here for the last 46 nuggets some other time. But that means I get to go and roll a new task, finally. I've been on this for over half a month, and I'm praying to all of the RNG gods that are out there that I don't roll another God Wars Dungeon task, because I'm going to be so sad. But let's go over to the spreadsheet. Like I said before, I'm going to have to save this task for the next video, but at least we can roll it in this video and see what we're going to go do. So we can complete that one, and let's see what we're doing. Get 5 new uniques from hard clues. This is going to be perfect. I already have 26 hard caskets saved up, ready to go from the last, like, 15 days of Slayer and God Wars Dungeon and all that. I've been very diligent doing all my clues, so I'm finally going to get to open them, which feels great, but I am going to save it for the next video. I've really just got to wrap this one up, get it edited, and try and get it uploaded on time. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave it a like and check if you're subscribed. Those are the 2 best ways to help my videos with the YouTube algorithm. And I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you guys have been amazing. There's so many new subs. I want to say thank you to all you guys, but I do still need like 1,000 more. So check if you're subscribed, and if you're not, please do it, because thank you. But anyways, that's going to do it from me. I will see you guys in the next video. And I want to give a big thank you to all of my channel members, but a special thank you to my Tier 3 Big Spoon channel members, Alchemist BTW, Jack Staumer, Zach Martin, Luxitaire, Tony Adkins, Dolph, Fading Shadow, and Mandeep Bassi. And if you want to see your name here in the credits for the rest of the season, consider becoming a channel member. The lowest tier is only $2 a month, and it really helps me out. Thank you.